Beyond the Ring, a podcast that covers all things in the stock show industry, from the informative to the insane, starring Ryan Rash.
I never let anyone drive me crazy because I know it's within walking distance already.
And Dale Hummel.
Dream it, wish it, do it.
Now on with the show.
Welcome to Beyond the Ring. This is Dale Hummel, along with co-star Ryan Rash.
Hello, hello, hello.
Would you like to begin?
Where would you like to begin? Even though you don't think so, the world has gone to shit again.
No, I'm not fully aware, but I am aware. So I think that let's still go positive. Make sure that rainbows and butterflies.
There's positive.
I have one positive. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
So Ryan and I spent the day together yesterday, the entire day, and that would have been the best entertainment ever.
7 to 6:30.
Yeah, if you'd have had a recording device just listening to our conversation while watching the goat show at San Antonio, would that not have been entertaining?
It was something.
And I was constantly being reminded that I do not pay enough attention. I do not listen to the judge.
You do nothing that we tell these people to do. You did nothing besides stare at your phone the entire time and took like maybe 20 pictures. That was it. That's all you did.
It was sale day and show day at San Antonio. I was answering text. It was a hectic multitasking day, and I've never pretended to be good at multitasking. But I do thank you for basically bringing to my attention when the goats that we may have sold came into the ring. You're very good at that. Very good.
It's not hard to figure out your goats. I'm just saying. I didn't know a single one of your showmen, and I could figure out which goats were yours. It was.
I enjoyed my short time at San Antonio, and I flew back early. I don't know, Ryan. I don't think you got a lot of sleep, but I'm struggling today. I am tired. I'm not caught up. I'm behind. We do not have a sale next week. We're taking 2 weeks off before we go back into it. So
your next sale will be show day at Houston. It'll be great.
I need to check on that. That was terrible timing. Mm-hmm. Terrible idea. I'm going to put that one on Craig. What do you think?
You always have someone to blame. It's never your fault.
Well, we never decide who's going to the major until kind of the last minute. So I'm sure when he gave me the date, I thought, well, I'll be home. He's at the major. It'll be fine. Yeah, that didn't work out very well. No. Not well at all, but very happy for a good sale and a good show day at San Antonio and Ryan's company.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we had a special visit from Mr. Matt Clays at the very end.
Yes, we did. And then you left him.
Not for very long. I had to go close out that sale and take calls.
You left him in the stands on the other side. I'm like,
well, we were on the wrong side to get pictures during the Grand Drive.
I was like, do you realize that you just left Matt?
I told him I was going to the other side to get pictures.
Matt, it was him that was being rude, not me. I just want that for the record. But
we were planning on going out to eat that evening, but the sale did not close until very late.
Mm-hmm.
And I got no invitation from Shrek.
Oh, yes, you did. Oh, no.
I didn't. She did not call me.
Saved your ass.
You did, I think.
I
really did.
It was terrible. I went. But anyway.
Okay. Now for the other news.
Mm-hmm.
It's all you.
Where would you like? Well,
I want to talk about the text that came up on your phone, the DOJ Hunter evidence.
Well, yesterday, DOJ admits that Hunter had cell phone pictures and videos of drug usage and drug paraphernalia and all this stuff on his phone, which prove he lied under oath because it has to do with the gun charges or whatever. I guess you can't be a crackhead and hold a gun. I have a gun. I guess.
Imagine that.
I guess that's illegal. Well, there you go.
Not that we didn't know that Hunter was doing this while he had the gun, but they have proof now. Right. Hard evidence.
They're admitting to it finally. I think they've had it for a while, but they're finally admitting to it.
And this is Biden's Department of Justice.
Yes, Biden's Department of Justice. They have not been kind to him this week. It's not a good week for him. I guess they were nice. They cleared him of any wrongdoing in the document, or they didn't clear him. They said he was negligent and withheld documents and all this other stuff, but they weren't going to press any charges because he was an elderly, well-meaning man that they did not think would be convicted because he has no memory.
That was word for word, I think.
Pretty much, yeah.
Very mentally incompetent is what I'm going to paraphrase it into. It was their reasoning for not prosecuting him.
Right.
They acknowledged that he had. So these documents were taken when he was a senator and when he was vice president.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, you're only allowed to look at those within the SCIF.
And you're supposed to
very
put
clear.
them. Yes. Then you leave.
You can't take them out.
You don't get to take them.
You have to work at smuggling them out. It's not. I do not understand. Very guilty of that. So are we saying his memory was that bad that he didn't remember that
he didn't remember
when he was documents?
He didn't remember when he was vice president, and he didn't remember when his son died, according to his DOJ.
No, that is the truth, people. He did, the DOJ's report came out with that, and he held a press conference, kind of an off the cuff one. That wasn't that the best.
Yeah, he said his memory was perfectly fine, and then he mixed up the prime ministers and president of Mexico and Egypt. So there you go. But his memory's great. He's on top.
Something about, Mexico wouldn't open their border for the refugees.
Mm-hmm. It was Egypt.
It was great. Yeah, exactly. Just amazing. And then he's so very angry with the reporters. Very angry.
Well, and then the whole thing is like, and I do not want anyone to think that I am being rude here, but when people do get elderly and they forget things and they get angry. So he just fed right into the narrative. I mean,
he did
go right into it. And this is the beginning of the end, because
it is.
What I don't understand is he or someone in his office, in his administration, convinced him to send out this report completely unredacted, everything there, all this other stuff, when they could have, cleaned it up a little bit, blacked out some stuff, all this other. Nope, just send it all out there. And now he's mad that every major mainstream media news network is saying he's got to go, and he's angry now. Well, dude,
I thought they asked the DOJ to redact something.
No,
he wouldn't. He approved.
He approved it. He wanted complete transparency.
I don't think they read it.
Clearly, they did not read it good enough.
He is doomed because the mainstream media has turned on him.
Mm.
I mean, they are all over this. And what is also amazing, anybody that has watched that man walk, talk, ride a bike, anything, knows that he's failing in a major way. And I not only mentally, I think he's failing physically as well. So, I mean, this isn't a big secret, but when the mainstream media covers for him, when they know better and they finally jump on him and beat up on him pretty hard, there is no question, and you and I have talked about it, the Dems in power, those within the Democratic Party that have influence, are going to do their best to get him off that ticket because he cannot win. And I don't like this. I'm not a fan.
I don't know who they're going to replace him with or when.
You do.
Clearly, this is not going to work out. And so since this came out, two things of note. Number one, 2 days after a poll comes out, I know Dale doesn't believe in polls. Poll comes out.
Depends which ones. Who does it?
Poll comes out. 78% of Democrats think Biden is too old. 91% of Republicans think Biden is too old. But here's the kicker. 83% of independents think Biden is too old to serve another term. Independents are what...
How could it not be 100%?
Change the elections, who decide the elections, I should say. And the other thing that I think is interesting is now the Republicans are pushing for this guy, his name is at the DOJ that conducted these interviews with Biden that they want the transcripts and I don't know if that's going to work out or if that's going to happen, but I don't think there can be anything worse than your own Department of Justice saying that you are basically a vegetable. So I
think there'd be far more examples in the transcripts. I do believe that. That's why they want them.
But that is noteworthy to me, and we'll see how that plays out. Since I am not Dale and just completely brainwashed, I'm going to give the Republicans some flack here. So y'all don't. We've never talked about this on here, but I don't know if they impeached. What did they do to Santos? They got him out of office somehow.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what the technical term is, but anyway, he was a Republican congressman from New York, and they voted and kicked him out of office. So guess what happened last night, Dale?
Special
election. Guess who won? The Democrat.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Santos. I'm sure I was aware at the time, but I've washed Santos from my memory, so I really don't know what happened there. But if that is accurate, and I believe it is, that did not do them much good. They could have still had a Republican in the Congress. They kicked him out, and the Democrats won. And now everybody's talking about this. What I don't understand is how did they think the lady that the Republicans ran, she may be the greatest person in the history of the world. I don't know anything about her other than the fact that she does not know English. That's it? That's the only problem?
She couldn't speak a word of English, basically.
Well, then why are you picking on her?
You really think that she's going to get elected when she can't even talk in English?
Now, what if she was an LBGTXYZ and I was picking on her?
That's fine. Go right ahead. I don't see how anybody can think they can run for office in America and don't know the language and win.
Soon that will work. Very soon. As soon as we allow all of we call them immigrants, but as I was sitting, I introduced you to the Border Patrol.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That poor man has no idea what he's in for. If you're listening, run now.
Oh, I mean, he's upset because we now call them immigrants when they're illegals, and that's it. That's all that is. I mean, telling me about all those ankle bracelets. You go to the garage at the bus station, and the trash is full of them. It's a mess. So I'm going to do my best. What show am I going to, Ryan? Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, Mercedes.
Yes, I'm doing my best to schedule that in. I don't know if it conflicts with Houston or if I'm going to be able to get down there, but if I can get down there, I'm going.
Well, you told that one very sweet young man yesterday that you were going to watch him show. So by God, you better go.
I told him if I can fit it in, I'm going.
That is not what you said.
And I believe that is on the border, pretty much.
Yes, it is. It is on the border.
And should you tell people what Shrek was?
She was the Miss Rio Grande Valley cover girl, which is the Queen's Contest. It's the first stock show she ever went to in her life.
Now she will listen to this podcast.
No, she will not. She is in Fredericksburg drunk on wine right now. So,
well, I hope to get to that show. I've wanted to go to it for a couple of years, and I'm going to go, and we're going to do a little bit of border investigation and awareness, we should say, not investigation. We know what's going on, but I think witnessing that firsthand would be, I want to do that. I know you don't. I understand you're perfectly fine, but I would like to be there.
Well, I want to talk about the Super Bowl for just a moment. And tragically, there was a shooting today at the Chiefs parade. And one person's at least dead. But anyway, I'm not getting into all that. But sorry about that. That's tragic. I hate that for everybody, that whatever. And congratulations to all the Chiefs fans, because I know we have a lot of them that listen to this podcast. And so yay for y'all. I personally thought the game was very stressful. It went into overtime. Took a long time. I don't know anything about football, but I don't think either one of them played very well. I'm just going to be real honest. But the Chiefs won.
So if you're not rooting for either team, why would it be stressful?
Because I had people in the room with me that were diehard Chiefs fans.
Got it. No,
it was very stressful. And anyway, I want to talk about a couple of things. First off, Reba McEntire did a wonderful job on the national anthem, but that was not the cool part for me. The cool part is while Reba was singing, they showed Chris Jones, who is a football player, and he was crying during the national anthem. Now, we have all these other idiot professional sports athletes that want to kneel and do all this other, and this man was brought to tears by hearing the national anthem in this same way. I wanted him to be the MVP, and I don't even know if he played. But
I'm with you. I am all in on that one.
I that was probably the coolest thing I have seen in a professional sporting event in a very long time. Yay for Taylor's boyfriend. Good for him for winning.
No, I don't care about any of that.
There is all this hullabaloo over he snatched up his coach and was yelling at him at one point during the deal because they had took him out and somebody fumbled and all this other. I am not defending Taylor's boyfriend at all, but
you better not defend that.
I'm just gonna tell you, I've probably done a lot worse in the heat of the battle. I'm just gonna be real honest. And the coach did not seem offended, but now they're all, now half the country thinks that Taylor's in an abusive relationship and all this other stuff. It's wreck, but yay for the Chiefs. Good for them. Yay for Taylor.
And I'm sure that there's plenty of our listeners that are big Taylor fans, and evidently most of the population is.
I am not.
I just don't get it. I don't.
And
I'm totally confused.
My thing for this Travis person, her boyfriend, sir, you are literally dating the most popular pop singer in the world, and 95% of her songs are about choosing the wrong man. What does that say about you?
I wasn't aware of what her songs were about, but that's good.
I would question that if it was me, but there you go. But Chiefs won. Yay for them. Now we can move on to baseball and all those things. Dale is very concerned that Russia is going to nuke us or something. All I told him is I looked into it, and his speaker of the homophobic Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson from Louisiana, said it was perfectly fine. There was no threat.
Well, I saw a news flash come up on Fox, national security alert. Those get my attention.
Yes.
In parentheses, in Russia or from Russia or something like that. My immediate thought is Russia has nothing from a conventional military at this. There's nothing they can do to us except one thing. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of nuclear weapons, and that's a pretty big thing. That gets my attention. So this comes out in the Fox personnel or whoever was broadcasting at that time, basically said that apparently all the other news media had gotten the leak and they had not. And the leak was out, so that's why they put pressure on the Pentagon, I believe, to come out and make some statement. And basically they came out and said, yes, there was something national threat from Russia, but we've got it neutralized. It's all fine. And they're wanting us just to leave it alone at that. That's not suffice. That I would like to know what was going on there.
Well, and then a NATO ally today warned that Russia will soon seek war with the West. So that just helps you out even more. That's going to make you even more upset. But,
Russia doesn't concern me as much as obviously China and other issues. But Russia and China to me are going to be joined at the hip for the rest of our lives.
I cannot believe that we have gotten this far into this and you have not sung your praises about Tucker.
That I listened to the entire interview.
I'm just going to say, I think I am not a Tucker fan. I'm not. I think that he is way more out there than Dale even, but he had the balls to call up Putin and get this interview and go to Russia. So, you know what? I respect that. I didn't listen to the interview, but I respect he did it.
It got better in the second half. It was long and it was a little bit boring because Tucker would ask him a question, and Putin, and what I got from the interview is I didn't know what to think of Putin. I assumed he was somewhat of a psychopath, but I also thought he was fairly intelligent. In the interview, in my opinion, and it was coming through a translator, so maybe who knows what he was saying versus what the translator was, but if it was accurately translated, he came across very manipulative. The ability to manipulate is strong. His ability to speak with a clear conviction and some passion. His knowledge, and again, this could be, I don't know.
Putin doesn't know how to speak in English?
They had a translator. I don't know I think he can probably a little. I don't know that. But when Tucker would ask him a question, I mean, he took it back hundreds of years to try to justify.
So what you're saying is he's not crazy.
No. I mean, there's something wrong with him. He's crazy from the standpoint. Yeah, I mean, he could, if his life was going to be taken, I don't know what he would do. I think he values himself greatly. He spoke some common sense things that why would we want to get in a conflict with the U.S. and the end of the world, basically. I mean, there were things that he said when he wasn't trying to give Tucker a history lesson. I mean, he went back hundreds of years, Ryan. That part was terrible. But he was smart enough not to necessarily directly answer Tucker's question, but rather try to educate the world on history and then he got across what he wanted to get across. Did Tucker bull up a little bit and ask some questions? He did, but not. Putin handled it too well. Kind of like, I'm not going to say like Gavin Newsom did in that debate with Mr. DeSantis, but you would not want to debate Putin. I think he would be good.
Don Juan I think Don Juan has gone into hiding. We've heard nothing of DeSantis.
Leave him alone. Clifton's going down to check on him.
Don Juan is he's gone. He's gone.
So I want to go back to, we talked about the border briefly because the border agent was there at San Antonio and I got to visit with him. Mm-hmm. So are you know this, we've talked about this and I don't know how much we've brought up on the podcast, but Biden now basically blaming the Republicans for the border crisis and acknowledging that there's a border crisis now. That is amazing to me. I had asked that border agent about the Chinese coming across the border because that's been on the news lately. They're coming in from everywhere. And I said, well, what do they have to do to stay in the country or to get a bus ride or an airplane ride somewhere? And he says, well, the Chinese and the others don't have to do anything because we can't even communicate with them. They just come across and they shuffle them along. They can't even, unless there's a translator available, and I can't imagine there's that many translators, they just keep them going. It just blows my mind. And now you've got Biden looking into the camera and repeats a couple times, history will reflect what the Republicans have done to prevent him from getting the border under control, because the Republicans have not passed the border bill. And you realize the border bill has a lot of money for a lot of other things in it other than the border. And the money that is in it for the border is to hire more Border Patrol agents so they can shuffle more people across the border into our country. Not to build the wall, not to do the things that are actually going to stop it, but in my opinion, facilitate people coming in more quickly. Unbelievable. Very angry about it.
I'm very well aware that you're very angry about it. And they impeached Mayorkas. They're going to fix it.
Yeah, the Senate's not going to. Well, how can Biden sit there and when he reversed Trump's executive orders to stay in Mexico,
92 of them.
Yes. I mean, he's saying he has to have legislation when he doesn't. Would I prefer we pass legislation to build a wall and all these things so it can't be reversed as easily? Sure. But he doesn't need any of that. And I don't know how he thinks that people are going to buy into the fact that it's now the Republicans' fault. And all of a sudden, there hasn't been a crisis, but there is now.
It is all your fault. You are the border problem.
It doesn't matter if we shut the border completely down tomorrow. We're already screwed. If you don't think those terrorist groups in other countries that wanted to infiltrate this country didn't take advantage of it, you're crazy. Crazy.
20,000 Chinese nationalists since October 1st. That was this morning.
Just amazing to me. The rest of the world is not that ignorant that wants to harm the U.S. to not take advantage of that. It is that simple. That simple. I don't know. You haven't even said anything about Israel and Hamas.
What happened? They're still at war. That's all I know.
Well, I can, again, I'm sure I'm not correct. I don't want to offend anybody. But obviously Israel made it very clear that they're going to take out Hamas, period. That is their goal. To do that, because of the tunnels and how they infiltrate themselves into the population, they have to pretty much level all of Gaza. And they've begun, and it's about there. And I hate to see that level of mass destruction. But without them doing what they're doing, there's no way they can take Hamas out. I understand that. the rest of the world and Biden are really getting a little tense and maybe getting a lot of pressure that Israel needs to pull back, go for a ceasefire for 3 months and exchange some hostages. And Israel standing strong that they are going to take out Hamas. So this is Israel is losing support, and they're not doing anything that they didn't say they were going to do from the beginning. But to root out all of Hamas, they for the most part have to level Gaza. And I'm sure there's good people there that weren't Hamas and didn't support Hamas and things like that. I really have no idea what the percentages would be, but I can't imagine that all those there were behind and in favor of what Hamas was doing. Maybe they were, but I don't think they all were. And I do feel for those that are being uprooted, their housing, their whole lives completely gone because of Hamas's actions and the retaliation by Israel to take out Hamas. So I am all in favor of completely taking out Hamas, and I don't think there's any other way to do it. But at the same time, I think it's terrible that a lot of innocent people obviously are being uprooted and destroyed. I don't think you should necessarily blame Israel for that. Nobody's blaming Hamas for what they've done to put themselves in this situation. Is that logical?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
I'm trying not to offend anybody. I'm doing my best here not to.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's not a good situation here. If you're Israel, do you not root out all of Hamas?
I'm for it. I'm down here for it.
I think they have to. I wish there was another way. I wish they didn't.
Well, I just don't understand why people don't realize that Hamas are terrorists.
I don't know. I don't know.
See, I don't care if I offend people. they are.
They don't try to hide that they're admittedly terrorists. They don't even try to hide it.
Yeah, but for some reason there are a lot of people in the United States that do not believe they are terrorists. I don't understand why. But
I think they're sympathetic to the Palestine people is what my guess is, and I understand that part. I get it. It's a bad situation, and I think it's going to get very tense because Israel's catching a lot of pressure from a lot of different countries to back off.
Don't look towards Joe for any help. That's all I can say.
God no, just terrible. And did you see Camel Toe got up there and tried to defend that he's very coherent and energetic?
She is ready to serve.
Oh my, and I did not see that part, thankfully.
She is ready to serve. They asked, she has made it very clear. She is ready.
Yep, she's qualified. She's ready. Mm-hmm. It's all positive.
Yep, she is ready.
Mr. Polls, I did hear a poll that because of the documents, charges on Trump versus Biden, if they're not going to prosecute Biden and they're still moving forward with Trump, the majority of the population do believe it's a double standard and it's crap. So that is going to continue to help Trump as they continue to push that down the road.
Well, it is. He is covered by the Presidential Records Act. He can actually take classified material with him after his, stint as president. Like that's a fact.
I don't know the legalities of it all, but I know he could have declassified anything he wanted. So if he really wanted to take something, he could have done that. So I look at it in that manner. Maybe it was a formality that he didn't. I don't know. But Biden, there was no method legally.
There's no way Biden can have the shit, period.
No. Yeah. And his is all locked up and secure. Did you hear him say that?
Right. In his garage with his vet.
with Hunter in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Selling information off of the documents is my assumption.
Probably. But
terrible. Most corrupt White House in the history of our country.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that whatsoever, sir.
Well, do you have any BTR JLA news? Or do you have more current events?
No, I'm good with current events.
It went just a little bit long.
I'm over current events. I would like to thank Oldwood Limited for being the all-around sponsor for the third year in a row. Oldwood Limited is one of the nation's largest manufacturers of custom wide plank flooring and other unique reclaimed building materials. Their products will turn your project into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that will last for generations to come. Made right here in America, visit them at www.oldwoodltd.com, oldwoodlimited.com, and create your dream home today. We are very, very appreciative of Oldwood Limited support of the BTRJLA for the last 3 years. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for the first time this year, we have new points. And so
goat point.
We have all kinds of points now. I am going to read the top 10 all around right now, currently this year. In first place is Audrey Callens from California with 346 points. In second place is Zane Downey from Montana with 230 points. Third place is Callie Simpson from Arizona with 217 points. Fourth place is Jackson King from Mississippi with 210 points. Fifth place is Elmer Hambrick from Arizona, 189 points. Next is Shelby Vincent of Arizona with 185 points, followed by Cassie McKenty with 165 points. Then Jones King of Mississippi, with 165 points. Both of the King boys are from Mississippi, not Missouri. Sorry about that. Garrett Roosh from Ohio, 161. And rounding out the top 10, Alfred McDaniel of Texas with 160 points. So good job getting those points early. Congratulations.
I call foul.
You always call foul because Arizona has 900 shows in January and you get angry.
The Midwest, a couple beef expos, and that's about all we have up here right now.
And then move to Arizona. Okay.
So how do you allow those others to get such a head start on the Midwest?
Tell the Midwest to sanction their shows. This is not my problem.
We don't even have that many shows this time.
That's why the points are a full year, sir. You can only count 10 shows. If you can't get 10 shows in a year, that is not my issue.
I am telling you that, yeah, they'll catch up. They'll fight back. They will. Okay. It'll be fine.
Good. Glad you're happier now.
Well, I appreciate Oldwood Limited. That is wonderful. The third year, national sponsor. They're hanging in there for you.
There you go.
Well, if you're listening, please support an all-American company that provides a product that benefits stock show families. ShowFresh H2O allows us to continue this podcast each and every week. They basically pay our producer, Clifton. We're not sure what Clifton does. He gives us a link. We click on. It makes it pretty easy for Ryan and I, basically, other than scheduling. Sometimes Clifton is off in another country or something like that. But because of ShowFresh H2O, they do compensate us, or Clifton, I should say, to allow this to come out each and every week. You can purchase ShowFresh H2O at your local farm store, show supply trailer, and at swampfox.com. Keep the animals hydrated.
Yes, you have done your water boy duties for the week. Do you feel better now?
Oh, and with that, I am getting many, many texts and emails about ShowFresh H2O samples, like I am able to send them out to them. And I do have some. But I promise my organization level to be able to send them out to people is very, very poor. So I was going to gather those requests up and forward them on to ShowFresh H2O. But for future reference, I don't know where the confusion was, but I'm sure Ryan did this.
The confusion was because I made the joke that I was very dehydrated from Fort Worth because maybe I had been out partying too much and I need you to send me some ShowFresh H2O. And you said, oh, I got samples. I'll send them right to you. So now, because you said that, everybody thinks that you can send them samples.
Yeah, I did.
He didn't send me any either. So he was just
and my organizational skills, it just won't work, people. I'm sorry. I wish I could do it, but it's just not. But I did not understand. All of a sudden, one day I'm bombarded with several requests and it continued for several days. And I'm thinking, I just don't understand this until I asked you about that joke. It was a joke, people. I am not sending them out. But I guarantee you, if you contact ShowFresh H2O, I think their Facebook page, you can go any direction you want on their website. I bet they'll send you a sample. I promise they'll send you a sample. How's that?
Don't make promises you can't keep, sir.
Well, I never asked them about it. But
Exactly.
Okay, the main topic today.
Oh, better
it's
safe
very
than what?
It's very appropriate coming out of San Antonio.
It is, because we are in the middle of San Antonio. I thought, what a great time to do this. So Dale does not like my topic, but it's fine.
I'm fine. It's good. It's a good one. I'm kind of struggling today, so this is a good one. I don't have to think too hard on this one.
Better safe than sorry. And this is not just because of San Antonio, but San Antonio, there are a lot of people's trucks get stolen, not at the stock show.
Be nice, Mr. Ferris. We're not.
I said not at the stock show. I said it is in the town of San Antonio.
I have to. No, a few years ago, one of my families, it was in the parking lot.
Oh, well.
And again, I don't know how that's possible. There's people out there. I don't understand that. But in the town, and not only in the town of San Antonio, Ryan, you go to Kansas City.
Oh, it happened to a bunch of people in Denver this year.
I mean, I don't know if these people are organized enough to know when the stock show trucks are coming to town. I assume they do. It's not good. And my inside information is that they can break into those keypads on the Fords really, really easy. So they're a prime target. But there's some organization behind this, guys. There just is. And Ryan and I are kind of rambling here, and you probably some don't even know what we're talking about, but he's getting at stock show security and how we need to maybe pay attention and be a little smarter about it. But in most of these larger towns at Texas majors or national shows or even a lot of the state fairs, I'm sure that there's some organization in the criminal world that they know the stock show is probably coming to town and all these trucks are going to be out there, and they appear to be stealing them on a regular basis.
Yes, we're not just going to spend the whole time talking about truck theft, but other things that can help.
That would be terrible. I don't know how the insurance works on that. I have no idea.
That will help try to keep theft down while you were at stock shows. But, I'm probably going to say some things that sound pretty stupid and simple, but people don't follow them. And this, I think if they would, they would. And first off, we're talking about trucks getting broken into and all this other stuff. And a lot of it happened at Denver. And a lot of trailers get broken into, all this other stuff. The one thing that I want to, on this part, two things. Number one, I realize that you're going to the hotel and it's late and you're tired every night and all this other stuff. And it is a lot easier to leave that clipper bag or to leave, Johnny's book bag in the truck than haul it into the hotel and up the elevator and all this other stuff. When you do that, you are just making yourself a target because you don't realize people can get money for all kinds of things that are in your clipper bags. If you've got, animal drugs in there, all this other stuff, they see a backpack sitting in there, they're betting a laptop is in there. So this is simple and stupid, but I had a very good friend of mine get his clippers stolen in Denver. And I want to say, well, you idiot, why'd you leave them in the truck? Take your stuff out of the vehicle.
Not many people are going to take them up to the hotel room. They just aren't. You're the tire, all of the above.
Then you are asking to be a target.
We are, and we're a little complacent until it happens to us. We think we're fine. I'm going to share an example. I have a story, Ryan.
Oh,
it's very short story. So I was smart at San Antonio. I only stayed there 2 nights. I don't remember. I flew in Monday morning. Stayed Monday night, show and sale on Tuesday, flew out back early today, Wednesday. 2 nights there. So I go to a hotel, $110 a night. And I was a little nervous. The ratings seemed fine, but I never stay in San Antonio during the stock show. I never book ahead. I book a few days before I go, and it's usually $200 or $300 for any hotel. This one was $110 a night, and the address was Riverwalk. I believe it was Comfort Suites, Riverwalk. So I booked it. I get there and it's fine. The hotel was actually fine, clean, everything's fine. But the parking, so they have maybe 10, 20 spots right in front of the hotel where it's well lit. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of it, the hotel's right there, basically under the interstate, Ryan. Mm-hmm. So all the other parking is under the interstate. I mean, really bad sketchy. And most people have to park under there. I'm thinking, I've got a rental car. I don't want to deal with somebody trying to break into it or whatever may happen. So there is one parking spot open each night. And it's reserved for, what do they call it? The Comfort Suites or whatever honors gold memberships.
You just
and guess where I parked? Oh, I did. Both nights. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I'm a member. I don't.
You're not.
I stay a lot of those hotels, but I don't do the paperwork to get that. But at least I parked in the light right in front of the hotel and there were no problems. And that to me, that's okay. That's legal.
Anyhow, we're glad that you and your rental car were safe. But I'm just going to stress again, I get it. I understand whatever. But if you take all of your valuables out of that truck, then you make yourself less of a target.
They're going to be angry and steal the whole truck.
If they're going to steal the whole truck, they're going to steal the whole truck. Okay, but I'm just saying, would you please let me get through?
So that would be like saying, if you're going to leave the stuff in there, let's roll the window down so they steal the stuff without breaking the window.
Oh my! Dale, there's a bunch of people.
A little bit of logic to that.
There's a bunch of people that could just get their trucks broken into at stock shows, not stolen, and that is what I am addressing.
Okay.
Next.
Leave your windows down, people. Let them take it without busting the window. If you're going to leave your stuff in the truck, how's that?
Yeah, that's great. Great advice, Dale. Perfect. Next, and this is probably going to offend some people too, and that's okay. So, I know I think every state fair and every national major show and every Texas major show, they do have trailer parking available. Now, it's normally long ass ways away, all this other stuff, yada, yada, yada. I get that too. But you people that decide to take your trucks and trailers to the hotels instead of utilizing the trailer parking. So, Dale, when you do that, where do you have to park the truck and trailer?
Oh, at the lot next door.
Way the hell out there, the lot next door. There's no lights, no nothing. And again, you are putting a glowing red sign up that, oh, maybe there's something in this trailer. Ooh, maybe whatever. All this other stuff. For these people, it is like moss to a flame.
I'm scared enough parking in the trailer parking. I would like to make a request.
There is at least someone at the trailer parking. I'm not saying they're armed, but there is at least someone there.
They are not paying attention to anything. Have you not? They don't. They just don't. I wish they did. That would be great if they did, but they don't. I get nervous there, and I would like our listeners, if you've ever had your truck broken into, completely stolen, or more so, because I don't hear these stories, and I'm puzzled by this. I can't believe that there aren't more criminals, and maybe I hope that they don't know criminals listen to this. We'll be okay. I don't know why very few of us lock the hitch up on our trailer that it can't be hooked up and pulled away. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
That was going to be another one of my...
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming trailers are stolen. I'm shocked there aren't more trailers stolen. Totally shocked.
That was going to be my third point on this. When you park in the trailer parking, there, contrary to Dale's popular belief, there are people there at all times. Now, I'm not saying that they're armed or whatever all this.
Lies.
But there is somebody there. But you do.
They're asleep. They're in the. No. Don't trust them. You should stay with your trailer if you don't want it stolen.
You're just gonna stay. Then you're gonna miss the whole show. But
it's also frightening. And again, I think they do make an effort to have people there, and there are. I hope it works. I have not had my trailer broken into, haven't had my truck broken into, so I'm very thankful for those things. And maybe we ought to have my manager, Craig, listen to this because he leaves a lot of shit. Ryan, I can't get him to take this clipper box from the stalls to even put in the truck so it can get stolen. It's going to just get stolen at the stalls, let alone up to the hotel room.
Well, that is a very good lead into the next topic of conversation here. And so we've talked about trucks and all this other stuff. I am going to tell you that if I was currently brokering cattle and going to the Texas major shows, we did not ever, they weren't out there yet, or maybe they weren't affordable. But anyway, those little video cameras that Dale has and several people have, I would own an army of those things and they would be up everywhere. I'm just going to let y'all know right now. And if you can do that, then I think
they're very, they're like $30 or $40 a piece.
Then everybody should have one. Then everybody should have.
You can have, a minimal subscription. So you have a recording of everything. You can go back and watch everything. If you have enough of them and some that are battery operated, you can pretty much set those up strategically that somebody can't just come up from behind the camera and whack that one because another camera's going to get them. I mean, if we talked about this before, I do it more for just to keep an eye on the animals, make sure one of them doesn't have a blanket off or they're getting out or somebody's screwing with them at night. But it obviously works for somebody stealing crap as well. And I think if we had more families, and they're not expensive people, if we had more families that were bringing some of those to the barn, I think it acts as enough of a deterrent that we would have less problems.
No, I'm just saying I would have an army of them. But
so Ryan, would you say when I have my camera hooked up, you're watching them pretty nonstop?
Yeah, I am. Yes, and yes, yours. Yes, that's all I do is watch your cameras. Yes, it's very.
And you get very angry when there's kids playing in the next.
I get the most. Yeah, I get very upset about a lot of things that I see. But you're asleep, so it doesn't bother you. But you wake up to 500 texts the next morning, and then you're like, oh, okay. But I do think those are a good idea for multiple reasons. But just some little things that I will share with you. And if somebody wants your truck or wants your trailer or wants your stuff at your showbox or whatever, they're going to get it. Okay. I'm not going to say that there's any foolproof way to prevent this. I'll just share a personal story. The year that my brother won the Denver Stock Show and I had 2 other breed champions, that used to be that steers breeds all showed one day and the next night was Grand Drive. We had 2 horse stalls with our chutes, our blowers, our show boxes, everything. And not only was all of this stuff locked up to the horse stalls were locked too. We came out there morning of Grand Drive and we were cleaned out. I mean, there was nothing left. Not one thing. So Sullivan's made a ton of money off us that day.
That was a big haul.
Yeah. I mean,
and people, I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to rat our own out. I hate this, and we need to self-regulate. I guarantee you, those were stock show people.
Oh, it had to be, but
that's
they were just mad we were going to win. So I mean, like whatever. But that's why I'm saying if somebody wants to take your stuff, they're going to regardless. But one thing that you need to think about when you're at these bigger shows is there is always janitorial crews and other stuff like that out there all the time. And some of those are probably not the most savory people in the world if you just want to like talk about things. But the cameras are a good idea. But one thing that I don't more, and this is going to offend people, but more people go through the barns late at night. And what do they go looking for, Dale?
They're I'm thinking
alcohol.
They're up to no good.
Alcohol. They're alcohol. And so when they see that your cooler is open and not locked and you have beer, you have all this other.
That's okay. That's legal.
It is not legal to steal somebody's beer.
Yeah, that's fine. Take that. Don't take the clippers. Don't take the fan. Don't take the blower.
What I'm saying is then they say, oh, well, what else is unlocked over here?
Yes, that probably happens.
And I'm not. Right. And what else these people got? And so
some food. You can even take a little food. I'm okay with that.
But there are coolers that have locks. Lock up your.
Then they're just gonna take the whole damn cooler. Kind of like rolling the window down the truck so they don't break the window. No lock coolers. I'm out. No lock.
I say lock up your coolers. Lock your blower. One thing that we do, if you're not going to like take the blowers and put them behind the thing, it's real easy to chain your blowers to your fans or to something there. Again, make it more difficult for them to take stuff because, picking up a blower is pretty easy. But if it's chained to a fan, not as easy. Lock that stuff up. Lock your show boxes for the love of God. For the love of God. And I have spent more nights at a barn after midnight than anybody that has listened to this podcast. I'll guarantee it. I will just lay money on it. You do not understand the number of show boxes that are not locked at a stock show. It is just absolutely mind-blowing to me.
I don't. I can buy into that.
It is.
I'm.
And again, I'm not saying that you've got money or anything like that, but everybody's got something that somebody might want. And when it's not like you, or again, just opening yourself up to being the victim of a crime. And
yes, and I don't think, Ryan, that within the show grounds and your stall area and all that we can a simple lock around putting your blower and fan together or whatever you do is usually going to be enough of a deterrent, because those aren't people that are organized criminals.
Right.
They're going to go through there and take something because they saw it and thought, well, shit, that's just sitting there and that cost X amount and I'm drunk or I'm whatever. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
And that's how it's happening. That's probably too honest. It just is what it is. But when something simple detours them, unlike our organized crime, stealing, breaking into the truck. I mean, it's going to take something very serious to detour some of that. But yeah, in the barn, I don't. If you put a little effort out, I think it'll go a long ways.
And that's what I'm saying. They're just little bitty things like locking up your blowers, putting a lock on your show box, all this other stuff. I think it's a good idea to even if you've got food boxes and all this other stuff, try to hide them, whatever, like when you leave, because it's lit. Some of this stuff isn't big stuff that gets stolen or damaged or all this other stuff, but you're going to get angry, and you don't need to be angry at a show.
And it's anything they can pick up and easily carry off without any effort. That's what's going to be gone.
Oh yeah. And that's what I'm saying. A lock, any of these things, like Dale said, I don't think there are hardcore criminals walking through the barns at night. Now, yeah, they're in the parking lots looking for your trucks and trailers and stuff like that. But you know what? There, unfortunately, in every sport, there are bad apples. We have some that are going to do tomfoolery and do stupid shit and take your shit. But like I said, there are cleaning crews and all this other stuff. Tonight at the San Antonio Stock Show, and every single night, that rodeo will let out, and there will be 9,000 drunk wannabe cowboys walk through that barn, and they just do stupid shit. They take stupid shit because it's just what they do. So anything you can do to try to deter that, and it's not expensive and it doesn't take a lot, but it will be helpful. Not only will you not be without something and have to buy something, but just like you show up at the show the next morning and your food box is gone. Now, somebody, the dad may not be upset. The mom's going to be pissed off as hell. And now we've got somebody mad and upset and all this other stuff. And when you don't have to.
I'm okay if the food box, just don't take something expensive. I'm okay with food in the cooler.
Not
if
everybody.
If you're going to take something, take that.
Not everybody.
I agree. Can we take a break here for a second?
Oh, Jesus.
Do you have a phone near you?
Yes, I have a phone near me.
How many?
2.
I would like you to swipe down and pull up the Fox News alert. Just came in a few minutes ago.
Russia could threaten military satellites. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. That is the national security threat. There's intelligence that say that Russia has nuclear capability in space that could take out all of our military satellites. And this is of grave concern, was one of the statements that came out.
Mm-hmm. I tried to tell y'all that Dale was not interested in my topic. We're already back on Russia.
Are you not concerned about this?
I do not know what you want me to do.
You should at least express some concern.
I am just the most.
You and I can't go up into space and stop it, but we need to be aware that the world is taking advantage.
Call your buddy Elon. He knows all about space and satellites.
No, I'm going to put Elon in as VP. No. That is who needs to be vice president. Yes.
There you go.
Absolutely. If we let this continue any longer, you don't think people are taking advantage of our weak administration right now? It is okay. We're back to the topic. I apologize, but I did want to get that in that it was real. Remember, I predicted it was nuclear. That is all that Russia has, and I didn't predict it in outer space. But
there you go.
Very concerned. We don't have to worry. I tell you what, if they take out our military satellites, The last thing we're going to be worried about is somebody stealing our damn food from our show cooler. just to put things in perspective.
And we've talked about doing this stuff at night to make you less chance of having something happen to you. I also want to say, and I don't like having to say this, but
I wanted to say this.
Say what?
That you were telling people what to do, and you're a hypocrite. Hypocrite.
I'm fixing to say, at Louisville, my Louis Vuitton purse got stolen. It was at the showbox, covered up by a coat, all this other stuff. Everybody else's book bag, Tara's computer, Holly's purse, Katie's purse, everybody else's stuff, not covered up. They didn't take any of that stuff, but they did take my purse. And so I am trying to prevent what happens to me to y'all.
What's a purse? You can go buy one at Walmart.
Right. Covering up with a coat is not effective. Put it in the showbox. Keep the showbox shut.
And lock the showbox.
Right. All this stuff because, and I don't think that was any stock show person.
I'm gonna just make a statement.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Why on earth would you bring a purse of that value to a damn stock show?
Because it's the only one I have, sir. Or had. Don't have it anymore.
You don't just get a backpack.
I have a Louis Vuitton backpack that costs more than the purse. It's sitting right here. I take it to every show with me.
I have a couple backpacks I go with. I'm sure they didn't even cost $100.
Maybe sure they did.
And they work fine.
Right.
They work just fine.
But you're gonna.
You are speaking from some experience, and I appreciate you acknowledging that. I did have that in the back of my mind. I didn't know if I was going to turn it loose on you or not, but no, it was good for you to come clean.
No, you're going to walk away, go get food, whatever. Watch the show, all this other stuff. And during the day, I'm not, I think if you put those valuables or those purses or those backpacks, up in the showbox and shut the showbox, then you're probably going to be all right. But I know people that have had way worse stuff stolen at shows during the day too. So you just have to be very, very careful. And I don't like saying that. I don't like that it is this way. I don't think the majority of this are stock show people, but unfortunately, especially at the state fairs and these larger ones, there's a lot more other people out there, or just as many people out there that aren't stock show people that are during all times of the day.
How would somebody walking past even know that's an expensive ass Louis Vuitton purse?
It is because it has the monogram on it, Dale. They all do.
I wouldn't know what it even looks like.
You're also not wanting to rob people you're not looking for things to make money off of. Besides,
what would that what would that Louisville pawn shop? What did they get for that?
I don't.
I'm curious.
I know what I paid for it. I don't know.
So a pawn shop's going to give you 50 cents on the dollar?
I don't know. Less. I have no idea. I've never been to a pawn shop, sir.
If I like going to pawn shops. I went to the one in Vegas, the TV show on Pawn Stars. Mm-hmm. But I enjoy that. So at 50% the value, what would they have gotten? They made a lot of money by walking by and grabbing your purse.
Yes, they did, and we'll leave it at that.
More than $1,000.
Yes, way more than $1,000.
See that is the problem.
That is the problem. Right. So to wrap this up, before Dale finds another China-Russia nuclear alert,
I think that's pretty important to bring out, and we already did current events, and it just came in.
Anyway, just be smart, be vigilant. I think little things, taking your stuff out of your truck, not driving your trailers to hotels, putting locks on things, locking things to other things, keeping stuff put up. All of these things are going to help. And I don't think that any of us will probably ever, if something gets stolen or broken into at a show, unless somebody is shot and killed in the middle of this, it's probably not going to be life-changing. But it is going to be upsetting. It is going to be expensive to replace. And I think more than anything else, when you are at these big shows, you need everything to go right, everything to be going correctly, and have your focus on getting your animal the best that it can be. Your kid in line, ready to show the best they possibly can. And an incident like this can really disrupt some people. I've seen it. And so I thought it was a good topic to bring out. Evidently, Dale does not, because he wants you to roll down the truck windows so they don't break into the truck and just take your stuff. I thought this was a worthy topic. Sorry. Moving on.
I would like to apologize that maybe I didn't take it as serious because I consider it common sense, some of the things we talked about. But in hindsight, after listening to Ryan's discussion, it is common sense. But I'll tell you what, my family leaves shit out that we shouldn't. Fortunately, we do have the Ring cameras set up at just about every show, and maybe that's saving us. I don't know, but we can only hope. It is time for question and answer. Do you have a sponsor today?
Yes, we have a sponsor for the second week in a row, and we really do appreciate Infinite Health Labs for being the sponsor of the question and answer portion of the Beyond the Ring podcast. Infinite Health Labs is located in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and they are dedicated to the total wellness and creating effective, holistic healthcare products for humans and animals alike. Their newest product is Orange Power. If you have a finicky show project, now is the time to start using Orange Power, because Orange Power is designed to stimulate appetite quickly and will add a touch of bloom for that added show ring look and appeal. All of Infinite Health Labs products are available at their website at www.infinitehealthlabs.com. So thank you, Justin and Infinite Health Labs, for being a sponsor again this week.
Thank you. We do appreciate it very, very much. Ryan, question and answer. You know that I got back and I maybe didn't search very long. So I grabbed the first three.
Imagine.
That's it. I didn't dig deeper. I took the last three that came in.
I'm shocked.
Or whatever came up on Messenger when I clicked on the Messenger thing, which I can't get to on my phone. You're going to have to help me with that sometime. I have to go to my desk computer. Eleanor, question for the podcast. What are the basic requirements for a good show animal? I am on the judging team for my high school, and I want to know the basic things I should place on an animal. Thank you for everything you guys do. I love the podcast.
This is a very loaded question.
No, it's very, very real.
But we could spend an hour on this.
We could do episode after episode, but you are good. You can summarize it.
I think that there are some very basic things that you need to look for, and again, depending, priorities are different for everybody, but one is muscle, width, and dimension. That would be a big one. The second one is structural correctness and soundness. That is the biggest one to me. And then third and finally, I think added show ring look, eye appeal, all of those things. Those are kind of the three basic components, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. Just keep things very simple, very fundamental, and we'll be fine. It's okay. It's good. Eleanor, good question. Good luck on your judging team. The next one comes from Colby. It's a very short question, Ryan. Next two are very short. Ryan and Dale. In the last podcast, Dale talked about manufacturing a lamb's mass. Can you explain what that means?
Since Dale talked about it, I think.
No. No, it says Ryan. It says Ryan.
I think Dale should have to explain it since he's the one that brought it up.
You are the question and answer.
Right, yes.
Remember, I was just in a cranky mood that day.
As most days. I'm not going to speak for Dale, but I will say that there are things that are illegal that we do not condone, that you can feed and or do unethical alterations to an animal to manufacture one's mass. And I think that's just going to leave it at that.
We could have a whole episode on it if you'd like.
I've had that on the list since the very beginning, and you have said no.
So since we've opened this can a couple different times, and it seems to be there's a lot of people that want to know about it. I'm okay with it. I don't think at this point
80. I'm going to be like the lady in Titanic. It has been 84 years, and now you're going to be okay with it. Jesus.
Well, if we have enough listeners now, if we lose a few, it's okay. Or if we upset a few, it's okay. We'll be fine. But no, Colby, there are things that are happening that should not be happening. And when I say manufacture, I'm referring to things that it isn't through skill or knowledge of feeding or exercise. It's taking the shortcuts that we just don't need to take, that are not ethical. Unfortunately, there's a lot of it in the lamb thing, and we used to kind of be a little better off in the goats, but it seems like it's migrated heavily into the goats. What's sad anymore is when the lamb and goat people make the steer people look ethical. That's the problem. It has never been that way in the history of showing livestock.
Oh, whoa. The lamb people taught the steer people how to cheat. Stop.
No, I think originally it went the other way, but right now the lamb people have control and the goat people are just right there with them. They're there.
And I do take that offensive to us cattle people.
I'm just saying. Usually we're going to leave that one alone.
Moving on.
Brindley has the next question. Oh, this is good. And it's the shortest question ever. Brindley, thank you. Ryan, what is your take on goats pulling tires for muscle purposes?
Probably think it's a bad idea.
It is, unfortunately. It is.
I think that
you do realize this is real.
I do realize it's real.
Not just from Brindley.
And I had someone ask me that 2 weeks ago, in fact, at a show. And I don't think it's a good idea. I do think that you need an exercise program. I know everybody can't afford a walker or a treadmill or a dog or whatever, but pulling tires is not going to do good things for your animal. It may build some muscle, but it's going to do a whole lot of negatory stuff in other areas. So I would advise against it.
So Brindley, I appreciate the question. And this is out there. And I'm not saying it doesn't do something somehow. But when I think about how I like the idea of trying to work that muscle and cramp that muscle and tear fibers and rebuild by pulling something heavy like that. But to construct a harness that fits them where it's not going to screw up other things. And quite frankly, I can't hardly get a goat to walk from point A to B without pulling anything, let alone pulling a tire. So I don't think it's a good idea. I would avoid it. Now I'm sure there's listeners out there they're having success with it. Continue doing what you're doing. I don't think I'm capable of constructing something, nor getting the goat to do it.
Yeah, I would say that there are a lot other ways to exercise sheep and or goats that would probably be just as beneficial and not as harmful.
I think the difficulty in both sheep and goats, and maybe even more so in goats, they're so athletic and agile. It's hard to put them in a situation like you would a bodybuilder where you're going to go with really heavy weights, short few reps hard, where we're trying to cramp those muscles and tear fire. These animals are so athletic. It is hard to do. So we can burn calories, no problem. But the muscle building part, organically, naturally, through exercise, it is difficult. And it takes a lot more time than maybe what we talked about on the manufactured side. So with that said, we want to continue to do the best we can and set a good example for the juniors out there. Ryan, it's good. A little long in current events maybe, but we're ready for Beyond the Circus. You say we're going to do one as soon as the Supreme Court comes back with a unanimous decision to repeal the Colorado Supreme Court on Trump not being on the ballot.
It doesn't even have to be unanimous for me as long as that's the decision. I'll take.
I think it's either unanimous or one dissenting.
I'll take 5-4. I don't give a shit.
I think we're going to be good, but I mean, you never know. Hell, Russia may take out a military satellite and it won't matter. I don't know how you aren't concerned about this. Nothing can matter tomorrow if they do that, and they have the capability now. And I promise you, China's in their ear. Do it. Are you concerned now?
I'm the most concerned. I won't sleep again tonight.
Considering the national security threat, everybody be safe.
Y'all come back now, you hear?